Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I want to just take a moment here before we launch into the topic of time and delay. I know, yeah. Before we launch into that, welcome. This video, and indeed all of these videos, apply to every single living thing. It makes no difference whether you are a long time student of A Course in Miracles, or whether you're a beginning student or anywhere in between, or whether you're not a student and you're just checking this out. You've been led by something or someone. Maybe you know what, maybe you don't, but here you are. This video has been suggested to you. Well, wherever you appear to find yourself, welcome. This course is universal. It is a self-study curriculum, and it is universal in both theme and application. It is in the application, the day-to-day, moment-to-moment practical application that we learn. Our experience teaches us that the ideas that you hear on this video and all of these videos, the ideas that you read or you hear discussed in this course are true. They're true. Our experience proves this to us and demonstrates to us and teaches us, but only when we put it into practice. You'll have noticed that, yes, some attention is paid to theory, to what we call metaphysics, or the ideas that are presented in this course. Yes, some attention is always paid to that, but the focus, as with all spirituality, is on the practical application. Spirituality is all about experience. It's not about just saying or stating that you believe in something and then going off and doing the complete opposite for the remainder of this lifetime. It's not about professing something for an hour on Sunday and then doing the exact opposite for the remainder of life, except for the following Sunday at 11 o'clock or Saturday or whatever day. We have only the present moment, and our awakening can take place really quickly, like right now. Now, in the event that you are not completely awake, enlightened, liberated, whatever you want to call it, in the next 15 minutes, well, that is absolutely not a problem. There is nothing wrong with you. Almost all of us are presented with a process. Spirituality seems to be a journey, a walk. Those descriptions, which imply going from one place to another, are apt for us. They're helpful here in the world because, well, most of us still have a lot of ego to release. So, we're going to talk about time here over the next few minutes. And my hope is that you pay attention to the message of your inner teacher who has brought you here, the Holy Spirit. You may call this whatever you wish to call it. I frequently, and you'll notice, use the pronoun, the gender neutral pronoun it, to refer to the Holy Spirit, which it is. It's not a person, it's not a man, it's not a woman. Now, here in A Course in Miracles, The masculine pronouns he and him are used as a matter of convention. So you'll hear me use those as well. But you may call your inner teacher whatever you wish to call it. And in fact, you may call it by multiple names should you wish to do so. Understand, those are simply names. We all have one inner teacher. There is one teacher. The Holy Spirit's part of our mind. It is not a foreign power. It's not an external power. It is what issues the call to awaken, which goes out to all of us without exception at all times. The question then becomes, are we listening? And over the next few minutes, if it has not happened already, there will be a message, a very clear, crystal clear and poignant message for you from your inner teacher. Maybe it feels joyous. Perhaps it will feel like a sledgehammer. I don't know. But you'll know when you hear it. And we would all do well when we receive this message to pay attention to it and do as suggested. What's really going on here when we run off thinking we're an individual, which we're not, certainly looks that way, doesn't it? No, there is no separation of any kind. So this world of separation and multiplicity is illusion, including the world itself. What world? Oh, central teaching of A Course in Miracles, by the way, there is no world. Yeah, certainly we appear to be inhabiting it, don't we? We appear to be standing or sitting or reclined on it as it spins in a circle really fast and orbits a nuclear reaction that we call a star really fast and wobbles on what we refer to as its axis in imaginary line. Imaginary. Very interesting. Yeah, it's imaginary. The entire thing is a dream from which we're awakening, hence the term. How quickly we do that is very largely up to us and our own present moment decision. Yes, you're that powerful. That may frighten you. You don't have to let it. And to the extent that it does, that's actually part of the path. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not doing this wrong. Much delay is possible. In time, we can delay this indefinitely. You can decide that the pixelated image that you see on your screen is full of it. You could decide that this course is absolutely meaningless and false and harmful if you wanna, and run off and do life. None of us will stop you, nor will we try to stop you. It is your choice. It is all of our choice. We can delay our awakening as long as we want. And you could delay it the remainder of this lifetime, thinking that this course and all spirituality is nothing but a ridiculous ganja-induced pipe dream by people who are in denial of reality. Oh no, we're not in denial of reality. Reality has nothing to do with this pixelated image that you see on your screen. And when you look in the mirror, reality has nothing to do with that either. Not only the reflection, but also the object that appears to cast said reflection. Reality has nothing at all to do with this world of bodies. You do know this, and something tells you that that's true. You can deny it if you want to. That's absolutely fine. I mean, that can't be understated, really. This is a self-study curriculum, and no one is forcing you. You'll discover that your inner teacher does not teach that way. The Holy Spirit most certainly does not force. That would be most unkind, and as adult learners, we're all stubborn, or we wouldn't be having this conversation, correct? We wouldn't need it because we would all be exactly where we are, awake in God, and this dream wouldn't appear to be happening. We would be awake. Yet, because we want to keep some of this ego, these shreds of our precious self identity, individual identity, because we want to keep some of that, we're torn here on this spinning ball of rock. We alternate between moments of rapturous joy and beauty that are symbolic of the peace of God, that are highly symbolic of who and what we are, our limitlessness as Christ, the Christ, which is not, by the way, limited to the historical Jesus. Christ is God's creation, the thought of God, you and me, and everyone else without exception. I invite you to let that sink in. Again, much delay is possible, but you don't have to delay. Because when we do, and you know this from your own experience in this lifetime, whether you go in for the idea of rebirth or what people call reincarnation, one lifetime, apparently following another in succession on this thing that we call linear time, whether you go in for that or not, just think of the last few years or the last few minutes, right, of this lifetime. It's up and down. It is like a roller coaster ride where we're on top of the world, so to speak, in one moment, and then everything sucks the next. Up, down, up, down. Tired yet? At some point, you have said, yeah, I am. I want the peace of God. Well, now you're being invited to allow that again and nothing else. Want the peace of God and nothing else. You want to know why? There is nothing else. So, what do we do as a practical matter here? We don't have to choose delay. Much delay is possible here in time. Who and what we are, where we are, is eternal. Eternity is outside of time. It simply is. There is no questioning of what it was like before or what it's going to be like tomorrow. There is no before, there is no tomorrow, there's no time. Who and what you are is eternal. You do know this. You do not, however, have to choose to accept it, though I hope you will. Really, I hope you may accept truth just as it is. Try it. This is, in fact, one of the most powerful prayers that you could ever utter. You could ask your inner teacher or your guide or guides or Jesus or whomever for help in allowing truth to be just as it is. Help me allow truth to be just as it is. Help me get out of my own way. Help me remove the veil. There are many different possible iterations of this. Very powerful. Allow truth to be just as it is. So, something else to mention here, all of this delay in time, yeah, it's not necessary, but we find ourselves still here, apparently, because guilt continues to hold attraction for us. We want to keep some of our individuality for ourselves. We're fine with loving on 99.9% of the global population, yet reserving extraordinary hatred and disdain for the remaining 0.1% or less. Could be a group of people, like a political party, or it could be a single individual. And if we're going to awaken, we must bring that 0.1% to the light, where truth, your inner teacher, shines it away if you let him. There's a tremendously adult component to practicing this course, which is why we don't see a lot of kids doing it. It really has nothing to do with the complexity of the theory. The theory itself, I mean, yeah, it's 1,100 pages of words. It's actually not very complex. God is, period. God is the only reality. There is only perfect oneness. You are the thought of God, and like extends like. So, because truth is so disarmingly, which is the point, disarmingly simple, it escapes our notice as we run off and do life. Or we do notice and we become instantly frightened and we want to keep some of our special forms of hatred for somebody else and judge them and run off and do our thing. Well, come to discover, and something that this course makes abundantly clear, that forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. Eternity is a total, all encompassing thing, condition, state, call it whatever you want to call it. It's beyond words, in fact. Words are simply symbols of the thing that they refer to. And the thing that they refer to, face, body, cheek, is not what it appears to be either. That's an illusion. Words are actually twice removed from reality. So, how do we experience this reality? No, we show up moment to moment and accept truth just as it is. We forgive the Son of God. We allow our inner teacher to guide us moment to moment, every moment of every day. In fact, that we remember to do so. There's never a bad or an inappropriate time to practice. There is only the present moment. If you made a painful decision 5 minutes ago, lashed out and attacked somebody on social media, it's the past. Forgive them and forgive yourself for dreaming it. Forgive the social media platform, which is nothing. It's an invention out of thin air, as this is an invention out of thin air. It's a pixelated image on your screen. Sure, it resembles a middle-aged man from Arizona with hair that has gradually over the years gotten whiter and fallen out and stuff. It's an image on your screen. Who's talking to you right now? Your inner teacher is talking to you right now. That's who. That's who has you on the spiritual path to begin with. So you could make the choice, the conscious choice right now, the deliberate and intentional choice to allow your inner teacher to run the show and forgive, 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 forgive. Now, if you're new to the concept of forgiveness, there is much that can be said about that. Understand that when we refer to forgiveness in A Course in Miracles, or as it's called, true forgiveness or quantum forgiveness, that is a learning label to help us differentiate forgiveness as it's taught here in the Course from forgiveness as the world sees it, which is transactional. Yeah, I'll forgive you if you do this, or I'll forgive you this thing that you supposedly did to me, but only this time. True forgiveness acknowledges that the separation never occurred. We're forgiving what our brother did not do to us. We don't make what someone does real and then forgive it. No, we look beyond the veneer. Look beyond the veneer. That's what you're invited to do. And we all, as course students, are invited to look beyond the veneer to the essence of what it really is. There is no separation of any kind. Forgiveness is release, profound release of whom? Your brother and you. There is no separation of any kind. Remember, anywhere you go, you meet yourself. We don't choose to acknowledge that, and that may be deeply threatening. That is absolutely not a problem. And should you experience that, it's part of the path. What is threatened? The ego. Of course, all resistance is of the ego, and the ego does not exist. It is nothing, so forgive it too. It's nothing. To the extent that these ideas bring up lots of questions, that's excellent. Yeah, because no matter what the tradition, what is spirituality but a deep process of self inquiry? What else? So, to the extent that questions arise, feel welcome to ask them here. There is no such thing as a question that is too beginner ish or too basic. That is quite impossible because there are people that have been studying and practicing this material for 30 years that may, in listening to the same thing over and over again for the 15,000th time, have that proverbial light go on and get it today. As the one talking, apparently, I don't know when that's going to happen. So my role here is simply to turn on the camera and microphone and share the Holy Spirit with you. Not only in the hope that it may brighten your day, and I hope that it may, but especially and also in the hope that it will inspire you to practice, because again, that's where the action lies. So I do invite you to ask questions if you have them, and I invite you to join me. If you have not yet subscribed, please do that. The prompt is here in the corner of your screen. Just click that little arrow over there, and you'll be invited to join us. Several videos appear each week, and it is a growing international community. We're going through A Course in Miracles. And once again, it makes no difference whether you are a long-time course student, a beginner, or anywhere in between, or whether you're not a course student at all and you're just popping in to check this out. Remember, the call to awaken goes out to all of us all the time, without exception. Doesn't make any difference what tradition or traditions you're into or what you're into at all. Makes no difference. The call is universal. So for each and every one of us, are we listening? All right. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you all very soon.